What is balance? I hear so many entrepreneurs talk about work-life balance and how important it is. But according to whose definition? Hey my friends, Satori Mateo here, and welcome to a brand new episode of Half-Assed to Badass. In today's episode, we're going to talk about why a balanced life is a lie and why you don't want to be seeking it. How do entrepreneurs, business owners, and experts influence themselves, their clients, and teams to maximize profitability, efficiency, and create lasting impact? How do they simplify life and business and yet still achieve more? What's the one thing separating the mediocre from the best? This podcast will give you the answers and reveal the secret strengths and the not so easy to admit flaws of your lead. My name is Satori Mateo, and welcome to the Half-Assed to Badass podcast. If you ever find yourself struggling with how to organize your thoughts, maybe you're overwhelmed with how to prioritize, or feeling stressed out about what to focus on, I want you to know, first, you're not alone. Second, if you want a more effective, more meaningful structure to your day, today's little chat will give you a clarity and give you a new perspective on the idea of work-life balance. It's so funny. Most entrepreneurs, before they start working with us, have a million plates spinning at all times, and they have a hard time structuring their thoughts and don't know how to remove the growing stress in their life. They work so hard to have a functional family. They want a thriving business. But there's a constant battle between dropping and picking up kids from school, driving them to after-school programs, keeping up a clean home, right? Cooking, having date nights, fitting in their meditation or yoga, right? Making sure everyone in the family feels seen, keeping up all the social life, and not dropping the ball on their finances, making sure the bills are being paid. You know what I'm talking about? Right? So if we think about it, we can conclude that we're all striving to keep the plate spinning without dropping or breaking any of them, right? It's an aim to have a balanced life. Fair to say? What's killing entrepreneurs and families today is the fantasy and illusion of this perfectly balanced life with no stress and no complexities. So instead, we create complexities. Here's what I mean. Why would we want to create a work-life balance based on some fantasy society or social media puts in front of us? Doesn't make any sense. It just creates unnecessary friction. Yeah, let's overload our kids with activities and play dates so we can be good parents that give our kids opportunities. And let's post on social media every 3 hours so we can stand out and so we won't be left in the dust by our competition, right? And let's buy every course, attend every conference, and oh, by the way, make sure you get those washboard abs and sign up for the next triathlon. That sounds intelligent, right? No, it makes no sense. So instead of overwhelming and stressing yourself out, judging yourself that you have to be or fit into some kind of fantasy criteria, wouldn't it make a lot more sense to strip away the friction, remove all the stuff that, in the end, just makes you mediocre because you're not focused and you're spread too thin? What if instead you were super clear on what really matters to you, right? To you, to your business, to your family, and found those core critical areas that really move the needle for you? You see, the name of the game is called precision-based growth. And we also call it deliberate growth. Now, here's the big picture. We know if we can agree that the money you want, the family you want, and energy you want to build a life that is sustainable doesn't come from doing a million things and doing everything half-ass, but rather doing a few critical things right outside your comfort zone with focus and intention and being very deliberate. Because this is where the real growth happens. It's a scientific fact. It's well known in neuroscience. You with me? Knowing that, we can also agree that it doesn't make any sense to give everything equal importance. When you make everything important, nothing becomes important. Nothing gets the necessary attention and focus to create momentum. So in the precision-based growth approach, you ask yourself, what do I want? What do I really want? Not based on the familiar past, not what everyone else thinks I should want or create, but based on an unknown and unpredictable future. So literally, you're creating from a clean slate. Then you ask, in order for me to achieve this, what are the core activities that will help me get there most predictably? In other words, not all actions are equally effective. Are you with me? And what do I need to remove from my life to eliminate friction, to remove stress and overwhelm, and to accelerate growth, right? And we're talking about thoughts, right? Emotions, habits, both internal and external. You may say, hey, I want to make more sales. I want to bring in more business. I want to have a bigger impact. And you notice that the first thing you do in the morning is check your inbox because you think you have to. And you feel bad if you don't. So it becomes an addiction. But then you realize that you're no longer going to be a slave and living in reaction to everyone else's demands, right? So you're like, hey, I'm in command of my business. I'm in charge of how I live my life, of my time, and how I take care of my family. So what do? Well, after your morning routine, which is focused on your well-being first, of course, your first time block for work is now dedicated to building key relationships, right? And closing new business. This means you're now consciously focusing and giving attention to activities that will maximize growth and meaning. It creates a ripple effect. You're helping more people, you're bringing in more revenue, you're growing your company, you're removing stress, you're sleeping better, and you're being more present with your family. You're more fulfilled. You got it? Here's what happens when you do this. First, you get tremendous clarity, and we're cutting out all the unnecessary, all the unwanted stuff, right? The thoughts, the emotions, the behaviors, and the habits that got you stuck to begin with. And you're simplifying your life. You're simplifying your business. And you're growing like crazy, right? You're removing internal and external obstacles that in the past would have slowed you down and even making what would have been impossible to achieve possible. How cool is that? You're literally changing timelines because when you remove friction and focus on what matters, everything accelerates. Are you getting this? I hope you do because this is so key to the entrepreneurial life. And if you want life optimization. And we create and design this for our clients all the time because we know that the other road leads to burnout, disease, divorce, and disengagement. Not very inspiring. Do you agree? We could, of course, go much deeper on this, but I just want to give you something to spark your inspiration as you think about your life and how you design your work-life balancing act, because that's exactly what it is, right? But it's not what you've been indoctrinated to believe. It's more like a counterbalancing act. To give you a peek into how this counterbalancing act looks for me, my office and my work life is mainly from home, and it's intentional. That's how I want it. You see, I don't have to, or neither do I want to, spend 2 hours a day in LA traffic, right? No need to plan when to best leave or come home, right? And since my 3 boys are world schooled, every morning instead of fighting traffic, we take a family morning walk together. We have home-cooked family lunches and dinners most days of the week. And very often I can take a break in the afternoon and play with my kids in the pool. Have some fresh-cut watermelon and just enjoy their company. Does that mean I don't have to focus and take command of my time? Of course not. I'm just very intentional about it. Does it mean I never get interrupted? No. Do I get asked questions? Dad, can you draw for me? Dad, can you find my backpack? Dad, can you wrestle with us? Can we watch a movie? Right? Of course. Are there moments when my boys are playing in the shower, being loud and splashing water all over the bathroom floor and need my help? Yes. But you see, it's by design. It's by choice. I have my blocked morning routine. I have my morning team meetings, my blocked key activities before lunch, my time blocks for when I serve my clients. I have my 20-minute research time when I might read a book. And I do that in the sun in my shorts so I can get healthy light on my body, feed my brain, get some vitamin D, and be away from the junk light from my computer. Hey, if you're wondering if I ever wish to get more done at the end of the day, or if there are days when I wish I had more energy, or didn't have to be stuck on the phone with the bank for an hour, yeah, the answer is yes, of course. But I look at where do I invest 90% of my energy and focus? And honestly, because my life is by design, because I have determined what truly matters to me, where I am most productive, where I make the biggest difference, and how I can serve my mission and create millions of focused and deliberate entrepreneurs that produce more with less, right? Where they have more meaning, more productivity, more growth, a deliberate, simplified, and fulfilling life and business. I'm so grateful. I mean, I can even imagine doing it any other way. Does that make sense? I mean, so many people leave for work early in the morning, right? They come home late at night when the kids are sleeping. They see their spouse maybe for an hour, if they're lucky, before it's time to go to sleep. And they only get a few hours to connect on the weekend. Not how I want to live. But nobody gave me this lifestyle or way of working. It was created. Sometimes people make themselves so busy because it makes them feel important. I'd rather let my mission be important and find the most efficient way to make it happen. You see, only when I have the illusion or fantasy that I won't have any friction at all, or when I have imbalanced perceptions, that's when I feel stressed and out of balance. You see, the dream you want, right? The body you want, the business you want, the marriage may never happen if you don't take command or if you wait for the perfect time. What do I mean? When you think someday we'll do that, right? When the kids grow up, we'll take a vacation. When we make enough money, then we'll spend more time together. No, don't wait. Don't wait for the fantasy life that is designed by someone else. It won't work. It has to be your design. A balanced life is determined by your values, not dictated by the painted fantasy of the culture. So never let it get so far that there's no way back. The core definition of balance is stability, equilibrium, right? To create the correct proportions, which means we may need to add or remove things sometimes that are not in alignment with what is really important to you, not what others think you should prioritize. Is it making sense? Right? Now let me tell you what balance is not. Balance is not putting equal focus of your time with your kids, your spouse, your friends, your work, because everything's not equally important to you at this moment in time. You see, that's just creating an unrealistic expectation on yourself that is not achievable. It would just create unnecessary stress. Are you with me? Balance is not something static. It's constantly moving. So to create equilibrium, you're actually constantly looking for a way to counterbalance. A great example of that is a ballerina, right? When you see a ballerina on stage and you see her on her toes, she looks so graceful and balanced, right? But if we were to zoom in and have a close-up on her toes, we can see a back and forth counterbalancing action going on, right? Which gives the experience, it gives us the experience of balance. Balance is also about understanding and evaluating benefits versus drawbacks, advantages versus disadvantages. It's making sense, right? You're assessing and making estimations, right? This is what makes you adaptable. It makes you flexible. But remember, it's moving. It's not static. Balance is a constant balancing act of navigating your life and your business so that you're constantly growing. You're deliberately pushing in one area and not in another area to achieve maximum growth. That means that sometimes you will give something disproportionate energy, time, and focus. It's not equal. Because if you do, you won't get momentum. Momentum is not created by doing everything equal. But it is deliberate, it is intentional, and it's done with precision. When you hear people say, I need to find more balance, they're saying, I'm not aligned with my values. They're living according to someone else's agenda, right? So think more in terms of an act of balancing, which means different things to different people depending on what they value. When you are balanced or balancing in alignment with your values, you are poised. You're equilibrated, moving and growing toward what matters to you most. When you're balanced, you are in harmony with yourself and your environment. And when I say environment, it includes the people and the things in your life. Think of a group singing together in harmony. They're harmonizing together. It sounds beautiful, right? But when it's off pitch, what is it like? Out of harmony, right? It's painful. So when you start recognizing and becoming aware of where you're out of tune, so to speak, where you work, with your family and yourself, when you're not harmonizing, you can start to Get clear on how you're out of balance so you can start navigating yourself back into the counterbalancing act. And it's your internal and external tuning system when you pay attention. I think of it at times like a teeter-totter approach to life and business, right? There are big oscillations from one side to the other, and it's needed. This is where the growth happens. And other times, you're in the middle, right? Doing that balancing act on a smaller scale. Another way of saying that is counterpoise, right? Which is a counterbalancing force or weight that pulls you back into equilibrium, into balance. Remember, if we look closer, it's still moving, right? But you don't want to be there all the time, do you? And how much fun would it be anyway? Right? It kind of takes away the pushing and the balancing of the teeter-totter. It takes away all the fun, right? So you want both. The big oscillation, right? And the more things that look like it's standing still, but it's not, right? It's balanced. And it's in your control. But you got to start by making the evaluation of what is right for you. I want you to explore and evaluate what creates that for you. So before we finish our episode today, let me ask you, and I want you to answer it for yourself as honest as you possibly can, okay? It's not about giving a good answer. It's about what's right for you. Are you working too long without any breaks? Not making time to recharge? Are you not working enough so you're not feeling productive? Like you're not growing or making progress in your business? What about home? Does your intimate relationship or your relationship with your kids or friends feel stagnant, like you're maybe lost connection? Or do you feel it's just the way you want it to be? How about sleep? Is your sleeping out of balance? I'm not talking about quantitatively and qualitatively, right? Or the amount of hours and the quality of sleep in place so you feel rested and you wake up with energy. Or do you wake up tired? Are your daily activities meaningful, productive, profitable? Do you feel that they're energy producing? Whatever your answer is, it's fine. This is not to judge yourself, but rather to observe and tell yourself the truth so you can make the adjustments that you and your family and your team deserves. When I say your team, I'm talking about anybody whose life is impacted by your choices. Cool? I hope this has been a valuable episode for you. And if you know someone who could use a little different perspective and make some counterbalancing adjustments in their life and their business, please feel free to share it with them. Thanks for listening and take it easy.